Hello, and thank you for joining today's webinar, Securing Your Customers with Actionable Insights, the Advantages of Identifying, Communicating, and Resolving Security Risks. I'm Sarah Duffy, a Marketing Manager at Barracuda MSP, and I'm happy to be moderating today's webinar session. Today, I am joined by Ken Bartlett, a Solutions Engineer Manager here at Barracuda MSP. During today's interactive webinar, we will discuss and provide a live demonstration of a simplified way to perform real-time security assessments and consolidate the data into easy-to-read reports with recommended solutions with our Site Security Assessment tool. Before we get started, I'd like to review some brief housekeeping. During the webinar, if you have any questions, feel free to show them using the questions or chat panel to the right of the Zoom webinar screen. At the conclusion of the webinar, you will be prompted to complete a brief survey. Please take a moment to tell us what you think so that we can continuously improve the content and quality of our online events. Now, without further ado, I'd like to hand it over to Ken to begin today's presentation. Take it away, Ken.
Thanks, Sarah, and thank you everyone for joining, taking time out of your busy days. As Sarah mentioned, my name is Ken Bartlett, and I'm the Sales Engineering Manager for the RMM product. That's our remote monitoring and management solution that we have here at Barracuda MSP. This is a highly capable tool which allows you to deliver remote services, monitor your networks with a security-centric vision on the product. We offer an integrated network assessment component, giving you visibility to the security and the posture of your clients' networks. Now, the focus of this presentation today is certainly on security, but as you all know, cyber attacks are still on the rise. We're seeing increased reports of ransomware throughout North America, whether we're talking Canadian, overseas, throughout the United States. We're being targeted, whether you're looking after federal or municipal government branches, emergency services, medical, even small and medium businesses. So that's why this is such a relevant topic for our discussions. We're seeing it through multiple partners, whether they're large or small. It's something that everyone is contending with. The biggest component is the multiple threat vectors that we're seeing. So obviously, a lot of ransomware comes in through email. That's our strong suit as Barracuda. This is where our bread and butter was founded, with email security, anti-spam. We've built that out with products like our Sentinel product, which look for intelligent scanning and use technologies like AI to identify behavior from end users and determine if the email is legitimate. Web applications, drive-by downloads, remote access, web browsing, network perimeter, and of course the users, the biggest variable of them all. So this is why the ransomware and the the vectors become such a dynamic, shifting scope. This makes it very difficult to secure your networks in a conventional sense. We bring a type of experienced business solution to our partners to be able to get a better understanding and to protect those other variables within their customers' networks. A couple of experiences about the attacks that we've seen through the studies that we've conducted. This one quotes a small business trend article. So 43% targeting small businesses. You don't hear about the small businesses that are targeted with ransomware. You might hear about small government branches or small municipalities or small state organizations, but the majority of them is not something that is brought to the attention in the larger media. Obviously, they focus on the larger ones, the Atlanta, the Baltimore attacks that have happened recently. 60% of the companies are actually struggling or even out of business within 6 months of a ransomware, a crippling ransomware attack. So, that's a devastating fact and really becomes a very sticky statistic when you're talking about your customers' networks and protecting them. And then most small businesses are concerned about the security of their data. So their customers' information, payment information, personal information, anything that has unique personal data. And you can see on the right, we're seeing a slew of just web-based phishing, social engineering, which is very tricky, general malware, SQL injections, and all kinds of different, in a declining manner, the different types of attacks that we're seeing. So that article is linked there for more information. Again, just an ever-evolving landscape of attacks that we're seeing. We've got some poll questions here. So Sarah is going to initiate the poll. So thank you for participating. So you should have a prompt. We'll give about 10 seconds for you to answer that prompt, and then we'll review the results.
Great, thanks, Ken. So the poll question is live. The question is, what challenges have you experienced in ensuring your customer sites are secure? So select all that apply. It's a multiple choice polling question. And we'll give everyone, another 10 to 15 seconds or so to submit their answers here for the poll. All right, that looks like about everyone. I will end the poll and we will share the results with everyone.
Okay, super. Thank you, Sarah. So the leader with about 87%, ensuring users won't click on an unknown link. So absolutely, this is something we see a lot of. Users are the variable and the rogue variable almost in a lot of your customers' networks. We work with products, as you may or may not be aware with. We have a product called Phishline, which allows for end user coaching and reporting. Simulated phishing experiences is something that we provide, ultimately training those users. Their safeguards, antivirus, network security, all of those things are dependent upon the user's behavior. So there are ways to coach that, but it involves training and simulations, etc. Number two, and a close second, is enforcing a password policy. So whether we're talking about domain password policies or SaaS-based web application password policies, requiring users to and keeping visibility from an administrative standpoint on that certainly is a challenge. In third place, just with about 52%, we're also seeing keeping patches. So updating your client devices, updating those endpoints with those critical and security updates. So, and then the other two were necessarily right there behind it was the network is secured. So keeping those networks secured, preventing foreign and strange devices, and then ensuring antivirus in the last place with 43. So a broad range there, but certainly some common challenges that we see our partners fighting with. So thank you for your involvement there in that poll. Very valuable information. As you can see, some of the questions here, some of the challenges that we're seeing from our customers. Will users click on phishing emails? So whether they're legitimate test phishing emails or email is very tricky. It becomes where the name you're looking at, especially on a mobile device, is not necessarily the name. There's also components like account takeover and inbox threats. There's a lot of components in the email realm that cause not just users, but that can cause interruptions in business and provide downtime to the entire network. Is the network secure? As saw in the poll, this is something where it becomes difficult to secure every component on the network, whether you're talking about IoT devices or outdated firewalls and other gateway appliances. Password generation, is the password strong enough? Is there policies? Can you enforce these? Are patches up to date? Is antivirus applied? What if you had the tool or knowledge of a tool to periodically assess and review your customer's security posture, or recommended some steps to secure vulnerabilities in the network? This ties in, you can see where I'm going here, this ties into a remote monitoring and management tool. This is Managed Workplace. Managed Workplace is a product that is under Barracuda's security stack. This is a RMM tool, as I mentioned previously in the introduction. It can be used for all types of managed services, managed sites. And it analyzes various aspects of security. So whether you're looking at patching posture, whether devices are connecting to weak networks, as mentioned in the poll, whether antivirus is installed on those devices, those components are included in the security assessment of Managed Workplace. Additionally, we go on to look at things like blank local admin passwords, complexity, historical age requirements on passwords. We look at whether or not UAC is enabled and components like that, along with whether or not patching and critical security updates are outstanding. So there's a lot of relevant capabilities there that this product possesses to address those security needs. Again, looking at password management, this identifies whether they're even in a work group in a small business, if you're looking for just local users with blank local admins, we can identify that through the security assessment. The status of AV, we port into the security center of Windows OS's and reveal to you if there's no AV detected by the OS or if scans aren't happening. So you do get that visibility. The patch management, we can do third-party patch management or Windows patch management, not just critical and security, but also update roll-ups and service packs and all kinds of updates. Very similar to a native WSUS setup without all the fuss of having to download and install all the patches for OSs that don't even apply. And then the network status, giving you visibility on those devices that are connecting to networks, whether or not they're using complex passwords on those networks, or if they have upper and lowercase, etc. So you get that full visibility. A little bit of a preview here, what that site security assessment looks like. This is just in our demo environment here. You can see there's 4 different categories, but this looks at patch and user security and shows some of the checks that are being run for software updates or local accounts. And you also get prompted with remediation steps and impacts and countermeasures, etc. So it's as simple as enrolling a site, and then you get this information within a few hours, depending on your typical site size. And then you get several reports and dashboards providing visibility on how those elements piece together for the security posture of that site. Sites, not everyone's requirements are the same when it comes to security. You might be using a closed or an air-gapped network where UAC or AV has to be disabled and then manually updated through a sneakernet style approach. That's fine. Everyone has their own requirements, but that's why we allow you to customize what we call schemas, and that allows you to change the variables. So maybe the password policy is 60 days instead of 90 days. We allow you to customize those thresholds so that you can adapt the scoring and make them more relevant to your customers. So whether you're talking about AV status, patch, user network, etc., you get the ability to change that, but also change things like the color and sorting options, and then view the daily, monthly, and weekly averages and trending analysis there. A little bit of the score elements at a glance. We have obviously the large percentage, which is the category score. This is a weighted average across all of the verification checks. And then we have a deviation score, which shows the up or down or change in the historical average for that category. And then we have the impact to the overall score, which is brought on by the details, showing an outcome of individual tests, which hold the greatest influence, and then some recommended actions. This allows you to demonstrate progress. Just a moment here while I reload this. Okay, this allows you to demonstrate progress. So you have that ability to go through and provide a site security assessment score initially. If you're fishing for new business or looking to displace another managed service provider, you can easily deploy our on-site manager, which is a network probe, which goes in and scans the network. But beyond that, you have the ability to go through and provide this information with minimal effort on your part. You can run several reports. There are a total of about 6 of them, which allow for varying degree of details, starting with simplistic sort of charts, as you can see here, showing the breakdown of issues and the score for each component. But you can also demonstrate progress by rerunning that once you've enabled things like patch management or third-party patching, the system updates through patching, etc., dialed in user account control, for example. All of those have an impact on the weighted average. The site security reporting, this is some examples of the reports here. This shows a nice overview showing the individual category score for AV, patch, and user. Again, AV looks at the health of AV on the system on the endpoints. Patching looks at critical and security updates and system components. User security looks at the component where it goes through and looks at local users. And then you have a network component as well, which goes through and shows UAC or the networks that a device is connecting to through a wireless, whether they have required complex passwords, etc. And then we have the site security report, which shows a breakdown from severe to moderate to minor, the number of devices at risk and the impact on the score. From there, we have the detailed report, which is a granular breakdown showing an impact, recommendation, and the devices at risk, all the host names of those devices. Then we have the summary, which is a historical or report, which shows a breakdown of the test results and the counts. And then lastly, we have the trend. which shows the score, how it changes over a certain amount of time. Again, this can be valuable for showing the value that you're bringing to a business. Often, as I'm sure you guys would agree, when you start moving a customer into a more proactive posture from a security, from a managed service perspective, they often don't appreciate all the extra work that happens behind the scenes. They feel that their IT is running themselves, and they don't have a need for an MSP to support them until you provide reports like our week work completed summary, which show all of the information as far as the devices that are being patched, you've got scripts that are automatically running to keep things updated, you're rebooting devices, you're repairing services, and keeping things on and available to their business. So this is something where it's easy to underestimate the value of these reports. So these reports help demonstrate your value, discuss areas for improvement. Again, it's designed to help very easily highlight weaknesses in someone's current service provider offering, but also uncover new sales and service opportunities. So I'm going to show you a little bit of what the actual user interface looks like here. As you can see, this is what the site security dashboard looks like in Managed Workplace. This is just a demo environment. I've got roughly 30 or 40 devices under management here across 6 sites. I enroll sites in here just by clicking the plus button, and then from there I can add a site to the specific security assessment. From there we go through and we start assessing the individual categories here on the right. Now some of this will look very familiar to the screenshots that I showed you previously, but nonetheless I wanted to show you what it looks like in real time. If I click on ABC Medical, this is a kind of a middle of the row. If I look at my scores, 74 on a patch, 88 on a user, I can click on the name here, and that gives me visibility into the dashboard for this customer. Now I can see historical trends, so if I wanted to change that, I can adjust that. Instead of being over this week, I could change it for the last month. The colors here are all customizable. I can click on the site security score itself, and that'll show me overall the health. But I can click into the antivirus category as well, and this is going to show me my moderate issues, minor issues, and the issues that I've passed. Looks like firewall is turned off on a few of these devices, so I can go down and I can see 3 of 6 devices have the firewall turned off on this site. So it gives me instant visibility on those devices. If I wanted to look at the lowest score, the deviant here out of the group, I can click on 74 per patch, and I can see there's some software updates missing. These ones are update roll-ups, and I can see the 4 to 5 devices that are missing roll-ups are listed here. I can read my impact and countermeasures there. If I wanted to look at my patch collection, or maybe I've got some moderate issues for security issues that are least critical, or I can go back and drill into another category. For instance, if I wanted to look at my Wi-Fi here, I'm getting 84, which is a pretty strong score. But I do see an alert here for a strong network password check. So I can click on that. I can see they're showing one device that's at risk and the impact and countermeasure. So I can click on that device and see the specific network, or I can choose SSID test results. And this is going to allow me to expand, and I can see the device, whether or not it contains special characters, any numbers, any mixed or lowercase. So you do get a lot of visibility there on those devices. Again, it only shows the wireless networks that are saved in the WLAN profile of the device for the last 7 days. So you're not going to get inundated with old networks and stale information there. The user security shows me information on domain accounts, local accounts, whether or not there's password policies in place. Again, I can expand any one of these. These are lockouts threshold checks, so it shows me 6 of these devices are not going to lock out after a number of failed password attempts. So obviously a very lax policy there. So this is just an example of the visibility that you get within the site security dashboard inside a Managed Workplace. It's a very comprehensive tool. Again, simple to deploy, minimal effort, but it allows you to really hit home with regards to the capabilities of protecting your clients' networks and looking for opportunities where another provider might have missed a sales opportunity, or a hole in providing complete security service to your customers. So why remote monitoring and management? This is sometimes a question that people who are focused on the bottom line, they believe in break fix, they believe heavily. There's several sides of this. From the MSP side, we want to see our partners grow to proactive. We feel that a lot of our larger partners strive to continue to automate, continue to optimize their their processes to take on more clients and be more efficient and use more cutting edge tools that are simpler to administer. But working in a reactive manner doesn't provide your customers with the most current sort of capabilities from a security standpoint or a managed services standpoint. You're limited to the number of hours you can bill in a week when you're rolling trucks constantly. So we absolutely want to see you get to that proactive stage, or further enhance if you're already there in a proactive managed services offering. One of the quotes that I like to share here from Brian. Brian is our GM and SVP here at Barracuda MSP. Much like how end users need to weave security best practices into their everyday behavior, MSPs need to bake security into the way they operate. So we keep this very close to our heart. We try to provide solutions that are comprehensive, that have a security centric offering, and I hope you see that in the managed workplace product. Again, just a summary of the RMM here. Built-in site security assessments to identify vulnerabilities. You can monitor, manage websites, applications, the security posture from a single pane of glass. You get alerting on servers and workstations and a whole slew of network devices as well. We have task automation and patch management and built-in scripts, and we use packages. So lots of capabilities there on a scripting and automation. We have integrated antivirus within this platform. We also have cloud monitors, so you can monitor web services, websites, remote tunnels, things like that. We have Office 365 account management through a strong integration we have that we've got with their Graph API. We demonstrate value with 150 white label facing reports, plus the ability to use a tool like Microsoft's Power BI to get even more feature-rich reporting. So you can tie into that tool from a reporting standpoint. So a little bit of feedback I wanted to share with you. We speak with our partners constantly and regularly about why managed workplace. If you're new to an RMM and you've shopped around, you're looking, you're not sure, you haven't used one before, partners love the simple deployment. They love the ability to manage, monitor, and deploy all from a single site. The automation and the remediation for scripting helps save them from having to worry about doing manual tune-ups on machines and maintenance, the patch management, and the straightforward licensing. So these type of things really make a difference to a small operation, a smaller MSP that wants to provide white glove service, but doesn't want to necessarily have to hire people or outsource everything for that level of service delivery. And then if you're experienced with an RMM, we deal with a lot of partners who have shopped every RMM on the market. They've talked with the big guys. They've used them for years. They've burnt through tons and tons of licenses over the last 15 years, trying every product. But they continue to reiterate to us that they love the security assessment. There are other tools out there on the network, on the market that provide some similar capabilities, but none of them are integrated into an RMM and from an RMM vendor, and from a vendor like Barracuda, who has such a strong foothold in the security, especially in the SMB space. The agentless and agent options that allows partners to have a dynamic approach when it comes to monitoring their customers' networks. The on-site or cloud-based, so we do an on-prem version of this product, or we host everything in AWS. We're a big public cloud advocate, so we love taking advantage of that technology and leveraging the scale and the massive machine behind that engine to help our partners have just class-leading reliability and capabilities. The OData reporting, as I mentioned, the custom monitoring. We have an integrated remote support tool. And then the integrated operations and security accelerator. So these are the component that allows you to have a security focus, but also bring in something like a third-party NOC for help desk services to help you scale up and grow without having to hire full-time employees. Lastly, in that sort of segment, the architectural alignment, the business alignment, and the current trends. So managed workplace is offered as a cloud services with global instances already running on AWS. It can be deployed on premises, I previously mentioned. It's API driven, allows for plugins to be easily updated and new ones to be added. So a lot of capability there on the architecture end. Again, this was designed as an agentless solution from the ground up and is a very mature player in the RMM space. There's a lot of new up and coming products, but they really show their immaturity when you get into the details of it. The business alignment, it extends Barracuda's opportunity for security innovation and our ability to simplify security for MSPs by connecting the RMM with key components such as email protection, cloud generation, firewall, security awareness training, that fish line product I mentioned previously, the data protection, and the Avast business security solutions that's known as the integrated antivirus within this product. And then alignment, lastly, with current trends. Managed Workplace aligns with the current IT trends by supporting Windows and Mac endpoints, VMware, Hyper-V, integrating with Office 365, account management, monitoring networks, switches, routers, firewalls, printers, and lastly, creating, delivering reoccurring security assessments. So again, supporting some of those products, delivering reoccurring security assessments. This is a big part of the Managed Workplace products, but ultimately the Barracuda multi-layer defense system. So this allows for the whole product stack to come together. So whether you're talking about email, application, network, and data, but then the RMM really stitches it together, whether you're talking about centralized deployment or reporting, or offering just a more comprehensive solution from a single vendor. This is something that really brings everything together and finds itself as the glue between the products. So we're very excited to have this product to complement our already expansive suite of products here, whether you're talking about traditional backup and anti-spam or the next-gen Fishline, Sentinel, ESS products, these very advanced products that leverage AI to detect threats. So we're certainly very excited about this. This is something you will see exemplified in all of our products. This is create, deliver, and demonstrate. So we try to position ourselves as a very partner-focused product, partner-focused company. So whether we're talking about delivering services or demonstrating value or creating offices, this is kind of our key principles that we apply and challenge our developers, but our product managers. So we want you to be able to use our products to create service offerings. Again, this is a business unit that's dedicated to the MSP space. Deliver them profitably. So be able to calculate your ROI on the tools. Look at the expenses, whether it's simplified licensing or flexible licensing, so you can understand how to deliver them at a profitable rate. This is as important to us as it is to you. And then demonstrating value to the customers through reporting, through showing visibility, through offering comparative analysis on the capabilities of our tools. These really come through to be able to create, deliver, and demonstrate to your customers. So thank you again for joining. I certainly appreciate you taking time out of your day. Absolutely be aware that you can start your free network security assessment through barracuda.msp.com/RMM. You can learn a little bit more about Managed Workplace and the RMM tool itself. We offer evaluations or proof of concepts of this product. Feel free to send us an email at sales@barracuda.msp.com or give us a ring on the phone number there at the call. We'd be happy to work with you. We have a team of expert sales engineers that can work with you through your evaluation and help you see the power of this tool.
All right, great. Thanks, Ken. So if you have any questions for Ken, feel free to submit them in the questions or chat panel. I do see we have a few in the queue right now, but if you have any additional questions, feel free to submit them as we will be answering them in just a minute or so. And also as Ken mentioned, if you'd like additional information or would like to start your free assessment, the information is there on the screen for you right there. So Ken, I'll pass it over to you for the questions portion.
Sure. Yeah, thank you, Sarah. All right, so let's start with the first one here. This is from Scott. Scott, will this work with any antivirus program, or what only comes from you with this product? Great question, Scott. So the security assessment component will evaluate any AV that the security center in the Windows OS would detect. So it would be able to identify if a machine has any AV on it installed, basically regardless of vendor. I think there's about 50 different AVs that Microsoft Security Center will pick up. We do sell our own antivirus product within this. And sorry, I shouldn't say our own. We sell a partnership with Avast. So that's the equivalent of the Pro Plus product, which is a very feature-rich product in itself. And it is a business-grade antivirus where you can password protect the user interface and lock down the notifications, put on silent mode, and it has 4 different shields which look at components like ransomware and behavior and mail and web. So we do have a strong AV offering within this platform, but the security assessment itself can work to assess any AV. So thank you. That's a great question. Another one from Brian here. Brian, does your RMM integrate with any PSA tools? Fantastic question, Brian. We do. We have 4 official integrations. And in addition to those 4, we have a web services API where you can develop your own. So we fall back on the web services where you can develop that connection if you'd like. We can also use an email connector, although it's not preferred. But the 4 official integrations are ConnectWise, Autotask, Salesforce, and TigerPaw. So when I say official, what that encompasses, because I know that's probably going to be the next question, is we offer a round-trip ticket closure. So the alert fires in Managed Workplace, low disk space on this machine, DC01. You go ahead and work that and say ConnectWise. Your technician puts in the time, identifies the low disk space, closes the ticket. It then syncs back to Managed Workplace, closes off the alert, closes the ticket. So that's what we call round-trip ticket closure. We also offer full asset synchronization, so you're going to get all the hardware information brought over from the RMM over to the PSA tool. So when the PSA updates their API or the language that they're using, we redevelop that and continue to stay current with that product. So these are actively being upgraded. So thank you. That's a fantastic question. We'll cover more on the RMM pricing and patching. How does it work with Windows 10 Server 2012, 2016, 2019? Great question. You'd have to reach out to sales for pricing, but certainly I can talk about how it works. It does work well. I mean, obviously with Windows 10 and Server 2016, 2019, patching is a little bit more of a challenge because they seem to have their own agendas with those OSs, but we have several distinct advantages over WSUS. We allow you to pick the products and classifications, but we also allow you to not require a Windows Server OS. So you don't need to download every patch just because Microsoft makes it, like WSUS requires. You can pick and choose granular patches, whether you want classifications, but you can also store it on a Windows Workstation class OS. So if you're working with smaller customers, you can use a repurposed desktop or laptop to serve as your patch cache for a network. The licensing in Managed Workplaces is very simple. There's a device license and a server license. The server only includes Windows Server class OSs. So how many Server 2012s, 2008s, 2019s do I have? And everything else is a device license. Within those licenses, whether it be server or device, that includes every component: security assessment, automation, patch management for Windows, third-party patching. You also have the ability to get reporting and a remote control. All of that's included. The only additional add-on fee is whether you choose to enroll in the antivirus, and that's priced at a flat rate per device per month. So a pretty simple model when it comes to licensing. A lot of other vendors complicate it with adding single bolt-ons and all kinds of stuff, and then complement it with basic licenses. But just be aware what you're shopping for here, because it can be a little bit of a convoluted space in the licensing of RMMs. How is the tool priced? So another Brian. Yeah, no problem, Brian. I think I touched on that. Again, sales@barracudamsp.com can provide you with a tiered pricing sort of idea as far as what range you're in and what it would look like per device cost per month. We do sell it only on annual contracts, so it's a 1-year term. And the more you buy, the better deal you get. It is a tiered model, so certainly would encourage you to evaluate that and determine if it's a good fit for your business. Scott's asking, is there any type of rollback feature in the antivirus product? Great question. I've seen that. We don't have that. This is a limitation of the Avast product, unfortunately, with the antivirus. So it's something where we would leverage our backup system. I mean, certainly Barracuda has some strong backups capabilities, whether you're talking about our Barracuda backup or Intronus backup. So we have the ability to recover quickly from ransomware using our IBU products, our Intronus backup, or the Barracuda backup product. So we would leverage that as opposed to the AV. But of course, we will continue to keep lock in step with the industry and improve the product and offer more options to our partners as time goes on. So fantastic questions. Thank you all for participating. Sarah, over to you.
All right, great. Well, I want to thank you again, Ken. Great webinar. And I want to thank everyone that joined us for today's webinar. And I hope everyone has a great day.